Hi, Levi Clevenger-Realtor here in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. I just wanted to share a little bit of an uncomfortable situation that I was in earlier today, actually. I had a couple come out to a home that I wanted to show them, and as required by the state law, I have to present them with a consumer notice before we can enter into any kind of substantive real estate discussion. Before any of their personal information is shared with me, the law requires that I give them a set of disclosures. They apparently had been out viewing homes with other agents and had not seen this document. They were homeowners. They were completely unfamiliar with it. And they were very upset whenever I asked them to sign this, and they actually left before they viewed the home. So I just wanted to take an opportunity, reach out, and share with you guys a little bit about what the consumer notice is. I do have a copy of it right here. I'm sure you can find a copy of this on the internet. It just says consumer notice across the top, and then right under that in slightly smaller letters, it says something very important, which is this is not a contract. The purpose of this is to make sure that agents are disclosing everything that they should be anyway to the consumers and their clients. Salesmen they have a little bit of a bad rep, and the law is there to take out the gray areas. They want to make sure that everything is out in the open and everything is disclosed and that people are not being taken advantage of. This is required to be presented in an initial interview with a potential client. It's required by the Real Estate Licensing and Registrations Act, RELRA. Some of the bullet points here, and basically what it covers is the different types of agency that are allowed to exist under the Pennsylvania law. It talks about seller's agent, which would be if I was representing a seller's interest in a transaction, then I would obviously be a seller's agent. Buyer's agent, if I was representing the buyer to a transaction and their interest, I would be their buyer's agent. Dual agency, that's when I would represent the buyer and the seller to the same transaction. I would be the dual agent then. Designated agency is when both agents work for the same company and one is designated as the buyer's agent and the other is designated as the seller's agent. The other form of agency which is allowed to exist under the Real Estate Licensing and Registration Act is transaction licensee. And that is when an agent handles the paperwork side of the transaction, but is not looking out for the interests of either party. That's on page 1 of the 2-page document. On page number 2, it goes on and talks about some of the fiduciary duties and the responsibilities that I owe consumers under this Pennsylvania law. I won't get into all of those. You can download the form and look through it yourself if you want. And if you are thinking about buying or selling a home, I would highly encourage you to do that. Some of the things that I owe are reasonable professional skill and care, deal honestly and in good faith, comply with the real estate seller disclosure law, disclose as soon as practical all conflicts of interest that may arise throughout the transaction, if any. And there's a few more bullet points on here that I'll let up to you to look through, but I just really wanted to cover the basics with you. And if you're out and about looking at homes, or maybe even if you go through an open house and somebody pulls this out and wants you to print your name, date it, and put a signature on the bottom of there, they have to do that to comply within the law. And also the other side of it is many agents out there are not putting this in front of potential consumers, and what you need to realize is if you're out looking at homes with an agent who has not given you a copy of the consumer notice, they are not operating within the law. And that's something I would want to be very cautious about if I knew that I was using an agent who was not following the letter of the law. If you have any questions, you can certainly comment below, or you can email me at lclevenger@homesale.com. You can also check me out on Facebook at Levi Clevenger-Realtor.